I'm Jeffrey Jacobson, and today we're going to talk about unemployment benefits, PUA, and PPP. I've been practicing employment law for about 30 years. I used to be an administrative law judge with the Illinois Department of Employment Security Appeals Division, where I've decided on about 10,000 unemployment cases. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to file for unemployment benefits, the regular way that you go about it. You're going to go online at IDS. There's going to be a tab to file for unemployment for individuals. You'll fill out the information. If it's related to COVID-19, you'll put down that it's related to COVID-19. There's going to be a whole bunch of choices for employee. Once you file, the next step is you're going to receive a local office determination. The employer will receive a notification that the employee filed for unemployment benefits. The employer will then have 28 days to protest, to complain about it. The local office may start issuing checks right away. That doesn't mean you're eligible for benefits. Someone at the local office will make a determination, and then you'll receive a letter from the local office, which will be stated at the top, local office determination. That determines whether you're eligible for benefits or not. So you might have been receiving benefits either in your debit card or direct deposit, and I recommend that you do the direct deposit over the debit card. But you might be receiving benefits, your employer protests, and the local office has decided the employer's right and you're not eligible for benefits. You then have to pay those unemployment benefits back to the state. You'll either pay it back directly, you'll pay it back in monthly payments, or when you file for unemployment again in the future, they'll take that money from you. If you or the employer don't believe that the local office determination is correct, you can then file an appeal to the appeal division. The forms are on the Illinois Department of Employment Security website for appeal or reconsideration of a referee. They never reconsider the referee, it'll just automatically be an appeal. The appeals are hearings, just like normal hearings we're familiar with. There's opening, there's direct examination, there's cross-examination, and closing, typically under the federal guidelines. Sometimes the administrative law judge will be controlling and ask questions. That's perfectly proper under the rules. If the employer or the employee don't agree with the appeals division, then they can appeal to the Board of Review. And you file a brief for that, the Board of Review makes a decision. If you don't agree with the Board of Review, you can then file as an administrative review with the county court that you live in. There is no fee for an administrative review with the county court. Okay, once you start getting accepted, you'll receive the local office determination, you'll have your weekly benefit amount. You're also entitled to benefits if you have an unemployed dependent or you have a spouse that's not working. So you're entitled to additional money for that. The actual weekly benefit amount is approximately 47% of your wages over a 12-month period. And so that's 4 quarters they'll be determining on. And there's 2 ways they can do it. The first is they'll go back 5 quarters, 4 quarters, 3 quarters, and 2 quarters. That's going to be your benefit year, and they'll calculate your benefits. However, if it turns out your last quarter, your most recent quarter, you earned more money, you can ask the state to use the alternate benefit year, and they'll calculate your weekly benefit amount. Your weekly benefit amount is going to be critical as we talk later on receiving wages. All right, once you're eligible for $1 or more of weekly benefit amount, then automatically the federal pandemic assistance kicks in and you receive $600 more a week. So if you receive $1 in weekly benefit amount, you get $601 of benefits. Whatever the weekly benefit amount is. There's a cap on the weekly benefit amount. It's based on an average for the state, and there's also a minimum. So that's how the weekly benefit amount works and the unemployment process. Denied by the local office, then for whatever reason, you can file an appeal to the appeals division of the Illinois Department of Employment Security. The form is online. You can go to you can search an IDES appeal form and you'll find it. It'll say reconsider referee or local office. That's the form you want to use. That will be then a hearing. It's taking a long time to get your hearings because they're overwhelmed. So you'll have a hearing. It's just like a normal hearing that you're familiar with. There's opening statements, there's direct examination, there's cross-examination, and there's closing. The administrative law judge will lead this hearing along, asking pertinent questions that has to do with why you were denied or received unemployment benefits. Once that's done, the administrative law judge will issue a decision. If you don't agree with that decision, then you have a right to appeal to the Board of Review. That form is also online. If you don't agree with the Board of Review, either you or the employer have a right to appeal by doing an administrative review. There's no fee for an administrative review, and you file it in the county at which you live in. So that's the process. If you do get accepted for unemployment benefits, you need to call in or go online every 2 weeks. To call in, it's teleserve. To go online, you'll go to the IDS website and certify. You'll do that every 2 weeks, but you could only do that once you receive a letter as to when your time is to certify. And you'll get a letter in the date. Now, recently, there's been problems with that letter going out. A lot of people have been calling and stating that they received the letter after the call-in date. If you receive the letter after the call-in date, but before the Thursday or Friday of that week, then you could still either go online or call in on that Thursday or Friday. But if it's way past that week, you need to contact IDS, call them, and have them reset that for you. Let them know that you didn't receive the letter on time. There is also a very long wait to go online. I've been hearing people have been calling 100, 200 times. Try. There's also, if you go to the lower right of the IDS website, you'll see a box that says chat. It's actually artificial intelligence. You're not really chatting with someone. But if you get to the point where you can send a message, what'll happen is I'm being told that within 2 days, someone will call you back answering your question. During the interim, definitely you're going to need to constantly call to try to get through. If you're having a problem, something's wrong, do not wait past 30 days. That's the longest you can appeal. That's your statute of limitations on appealing to the appeal division. So if it's getting close to that, file your appeal. You can mail it in, you can fax it in. Either of those are perfectly acceptable, and it's the mailbox rule for either one of those. Okay, so that's unemployment benefits. You'll receive a letter that says what your weekly benefit amount is. If you have an unemployed spouse, you'll receive money for that, additional money. If you have dependent children, you'll receive money for that. There's a cap for unemployment benefits. I think it's about $490 a week. If, however, you receive $1 of unemployment benefits a week, the federal government pandemic benefit kicks in and you receive an automatic $600 additional a week. So if you receive $1 from the state in weekly benefit, then you also receive $600 in federal benefits from the state. So that's basically how you file for unemployment benefits. If, however, you're denied unemployment benefits with the state, and that means because you're not eligible, there are times where you're not going to get your weekly benefit. An example of many is you have filed for unemployment years ago. It turned out you weren't entitled to the money you received. The state filed a motion to get it back. they set up a notice to you to get the money back, and you failed to comply, the state then is entitled to reduce your unemployment benefits by the amount of money they paid you, which may mean you're not getting any money. But let's assume you didn't make enough during your benefit year. You were ineligible for unemployment benefits. Then you can file under the PUA, and that started May 11th. So that process just started. There's some glitches in the software and the process, but for the most part, it's working. So you're going to go on to the IDS website. If you haven't filed for unemployment yet, they're requiring you to file now, get denied, and then file for the PUA. So if you're a sole proprietor and you waited till now, till you see this video to file, you still have to file as an unemployed person under the normal process and get denied. You're going to have to answer the questions as best as you can, because a normal unemployment system has questions that are specifically laser focused for employees. And as a sole proprietor at 1099, you're not going to be able to answer the questions correctly, in my opinion. There is a place for you to put a description in, so I would just describe you're a 1099 or a sole proprietor and you've answered the questions as best you can, but they don't apply to you. So you're going to go to the PUA, you're going to fill out all that information. They're going to need 2 forms of identification for you to apply. Typically your social security card and driver's license, but it has a list of what's acceptable. If you don't have those documents available when you apply, you have 21 days to upload them. So if you can't find them right away, I would go ahead and apply right away, because the system is taking a long time. You're also going to need to submit some kind of financial information. Most of the list is 2019 tax information, but if you have a 1099, it's my opinion that for 2019, you can file that 1099 if you haven't filed your tax returns yet. So if someone's paid you a 1099, go ahead. If all you have is a profit and loss statement that shows what you've received and compares it to your loss after the COVID-19, I would certainly submit that. There's a lot of people that haven't done their 2019 tax returns. So then you're going to go through the PUA process, and you'll receive a letter saying that you're eligible or not eligible for benefits. There are some problems. People that have applied haven't received their unemployment benefits because they're not eligible, and then the PUA process is rejecting them. Same process to appeal that. Unlike unemployment though, for the PUA, you need to certify every week after you applied according to IDS. And they don't have a lot of rules up yet. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, they have some rules on how to process on the PUA. You'll receive the PUA benefits, which is approximately 47% of your losses. And you're not entitled to the additional $600 a week. So it'll just be straight PUA, which is why if you can get unemployment benefits, you want to do that instead of the PUA, because on top of the unemployment benefits, you also receive the $600 in the federal benefit. Okay, so that's the concept for unemployment and PUA, and how to certify for both unemployment and for PUA.